You got something that I want, and we'll be dancing all night long. We'll live it up till morning comes. Yeah, you and me, we're gonna run to chase the sun, sun, sun. Yeah, you and me, we're gonna run to chase the sun, sun, sun.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another day of the LCK Summer 2019. I'm Valdez. With me is LS, aka Last Straw. How are you doing today, man? Feeling good about these games?
I'm feeling like I have a lot of standards for today.
Yeah? High standards today?
High standards today.
Okay, just for
It's a
today.
Jin Air K.
Okay, that's good. That's
You're
good.
not Atlas.
Good start.
Where's that?
So you have to so you have to have high standards, right?
I
That's
gotta
the way
have
it
high
goes.
standards for this.
I mean, it's gonna be a good day, right? Jin Air up against Afreeca. Jin Air still looking for their first win. It has not happened yet this time around. They've won a game. They've won 2 games actually. Don't want to cut them short on that one. 2 games so far, but no series wins. So waiting to see what they can do up against Afreeca. And then later on, we do have Homolife up against Sandbox. And I feel like all 4 of these teams are struggling. But the good news is that 2 of them have to win today. So somebody are going to be breaking their losing streaks today.
Well, Jin Air, they're definitely going to be considered the underdogs coming into tonight's matchup, even though Afreeca has been struggling to really find their place here in Summer 2019. They initially started off really strong, and a lot of people were considering them one of the top teams, but as the season draws on, they just continue to fall further and further down the rankings. Tonight, though, against Jin Air, like I just said, they are the favorites. Most people probably would consider them to win the match, but this is definitely one of the matches where Jin Air could potentially pull an upset, at least compared to some of the other teams.
Yeah, you're right on the money there. I mean, Afreeca recently, they just went down to KT, and boy, was that a series. Me and Papa were casting that one. And I say boy was it a series, not because it was the highest level League of Legends we've ever seen. It was Afreeca struggling massively up against KT, who eventually did take that one. So it's a lot on their plate right now. Afreeca have always struggled with their inconsistency, and that's exactly when the Jin Air Greenwings are waiting, ready to strike and take that first series win.
We're in match 57. And Jin Air, I'm wondering if them or Afreeca are going to be one of the first ones to pull out some more unorthodox stuff with perhaps the Kiana. Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, Kiana.
Is that it? All right, because, you know, I'm probably going to butcher it a few times, like Atrox.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, isn't that the correct saying? Atrox?
Atrox, yeah.
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 Wait, what? What happened? You turned that one around on me real quick.
Don't worry about it.
The interesting thing is that QI in Chinese is actually Qi, I think, based on what I know. But nobody's calling her Chiana, which is kind of interesting. In English, I guess you would just use the Q and go with the kind of K sound. But definitely not a name that you would see a lot, Kiana. But we are taking a look at some of the points of the match, otherwise known as match points. Jin Air's chance to explode their first win bomb. That's an interesting way to say it.
They've been charging all season. This is the spirit bomb that many people have been waiting for. Going up against Afreeca, the only team they defeated in Spring Split. This is it. It's time for the double whammy. Afreeca got KO'd by KT to compete for the playoff ticket. In order to compete for the playoff ticket, they have to win today. So Afreeca, they need this win against Jin Air. Jin Air on a 16-game losing streak. They're about to break the longest losing streak record. LCK losing record is 17.
Ooh.
And Here are the team stats. KDA, Jin Air Greenwings in 10th. Probably will tend to be the case when you're losing every game.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a bit of a season for them, is one way we could say it. I think that third stat really highlights their problem. You can see that with first turret, they still have only a 9% win rate. So, Jin Air, they oftentimes have a great early game. Malrang or Seas, aggressive junglers, they get first blood. They can even roll that into a Rift Herald and take the first turret. And then they just fall apart like they're made of sand. I don't know what it is, but their mid-game macro just goes out the window, and they don't really know how to transition. So that's always my focus for if they can improve on that every time they come out.
You know, and one of my main focuses is what is Malrang going to do? Because one of the things I know that I've often commented on when watching their games is he tends to play as if it's solo queue. And so it's sort of like watching a coin flipper just sort of decide whether or not he just ran over a ward or not.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, he might get an early advantage for his team. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights. Malrang coming in here. Looks like FLICKR didn't have a ward, so I'm able to pick that one up. C is here on the Silas, accompanied by Grace, taking down FLICKR right there on the Corki.
Yeah, SKT did take the wins up against Jin Air this time around, but there were a bunch of moments where SKT were just looking really not solid, and Jin Air were able to get ahead. Now, this happens again. You know, they win early games against SKT, a great team, and then they just can't get anything out of it. They just don't know how to transition and actually play a mid-game, so hopefully they can change that up against Afreeca. We're going to see some highlights of them up against KT the last time around on Friday.
Yeah. And here in this clip, Ucal ended up dying right there, but stuff able to be salvaged. Also, Kiin using the Kled. This isn't the Kled buff patch. So I know that a lot of people have been talking about how Kled feels a lot better now after the buff, but this is pre-buff. He ended up bringing out the Kled. And this is also sort of what's making me wonder if Afreeca is going to dive into some unorthodox team compositions or whatnot here against Afreeca, because now would be the time to potentially experiment with it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to play some of the new champs, if you want to do that up against Jin Air, if you want to experiment with some weird kind of style, now is also the time to do it here, as we will focus on the top lane for now. Of course, with Kiin in the game, it's hard not to. You can see the one stat where Lindarang does have a win here is in the damage at 15. They were able to find one stat, and this is the one for Lindarang.
Yeah. And Kiin, he's been falling off a little bit from his god status that he had for almost the entire year. And even last year, he was revered as one of the best in the world. So definitely a little bit of a slump for him so far, but coming up against Lindarang, you have to assume that it's not the kind of competition that would give him a run for his money or maybe have him experience any difficulty inside of the lane.
You guys can see the roster here. It is going to be Lindarang, as aforementioned, as well as Malrang is going to be starting in this game, so no C's for game number one. You can definitely see that change up if they do lose game one, as Jin Air has always been experimenting with specifically top and jungle changes in their subbing. Whereas Root and Kellin in the bottom lane, for me, has really been the focal point of any of their success.
Yeah, I'm surprised that that wasn't one of the player highlights, is the Root and Kellin, because that's really the saving grace for Jin Air.
I think it's because that was the highlight role for their matchup against SKT. Maybe they didn't want to give it to Root 2 times in a row. Spread the love a little bit. As, this is going to be Afreeca, kind of the roster that you've become accustomed to nowadays. Dread in the jungle, Kiin up top, Ucal aiming, and Senan are going to be coming in.
And they are going to take to the stage. They are starting on the red side this time around, so they will have the counter pick available, which that can be quite strong, especially when you are the favorite or to be considered the stronger team, especially in the current meta. Despite there being some power picks available, there's just a lot of flexibility that is also offered inside of the current meta as the flags drop.
Yeah, LS's
Always
favorite part
This is
of
my
the
favorite
broadcast.
part of the broadcast. This is actually it.
Flags are very symmetrical. They're actually, well, to each other, perhaps. Looking good. Nice and pointy there on the bottom. As we already mentioned the rosters. But the one thing to focus on here, if you're an Afreeca fan, is that they basically have to win this. If they give up a win against Jin Air, I don't think we see Afreeca in the playoffs. Like, it's still statistically possible to make it.
Right.
But if you're losing to Jin Air and you're going on this big of a slump right now when it's really important, I just don't think that you're making playoffs. So that's one thing to focus on if you are Afreeca. If you show any weakness tonight, I take that as a pretty bad sign.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of eyes will be on how well do they perform, not just if they win, because that's what they really do need to be evaluated on. As we are jumping right into the ban pick, I am feeling good today. Hopefully no pauses.
Yeah, we had like 3 or 4 yesterday. Yeah. I don't know why.
And Talia will be in the window as Volibear is in the door. So now we'll see. We're already getting a little bit of a spicy ban phase.
Yeah,
Not quite spicy Feather Knight, but...
Yeah, not that level, but that's just a weird ban. But I guess up against Kellin, they do want to be safe. Not messing around, showing some respect.
Jace and Yuumi now banned away. Jin Air deciding on what they want to ban next. Looks like it will be the Ezreal. And so there's still a few power picks that are still available. Sejuani is still on the table. It's not a champion that I really think of when I think of Malrang, though.
Nah, not really. And I think that's a good idea if you're a Afreeca. Take away the karma. Just allow Jin Air. You know they're not really going for that pick too often. Even the bot lane can get pretty aggressive. Kellin, known for picking up duo kills down there themselves, but the Thomas Kench has been left available, and they are going to pick that up here for Kellin.
Yeah, Sir Thomas locked in. This is patch 913. It's not the Thomas Kench graveyard. However, after the hot fixes for Tahm, apparently, I haven't gotten to test it myself yet.
Yeah.
Being a Tahm Kench connoisseur.
Of course.
But he might be a jungler in 914. Although that means that Korea just won't play him. Maybe in 2021.
2021?
We'll get around
Wow.
to it, perhaps. Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Karthus, and you're like, well, now it's first ban against some teams.
And now on the flip side, Kennen and Varus picked up by Afreeca. You know, I really don't like Kennen. Neeko does everything this champion does, but better. And I hope that we get to see that here, as Neeko is being hovered right now. It's like Mew and Mewtwo.
Yeah, kind of.
It's just like that. So, Neeko is just the superior product you can really get, you know? So, we'll see what Jin Air accompanies this with. You could just get your 80 carry out of the way. The jungle is still too wide open to pick a jungle champion here and think that you can try to pinch it down if Afreeca wouldn't elect to choose their jungler next. And so it's going to be the Kalista locked in.
What?
What?
What did you say?
Kalista.
That didn't sound like English.
All right.
You're bringing in new languages.
You gotta get your ears checked.
To the broadcast.
Yeah. I'm lost sight, but it looks like you're losing your hearing. So, Nautilus now picked up, which is pretty good at isolating the Kalista and the Neeko. Now Zoe being banned away, even though Nautilus is fantastic against it. Kennen fantastic against it. Varus also potentially fantastic against it. This is really bizarre to see a ban like that end up coming in.
It's just grace. The guy, he has shown proficiency on one champion, and that one champion has been Zoe. I get your points, but Afreeca will be stubborn, at least up against Grace.
Aurelia now banned away. And so that should signify that the Neeko will most likely go top. Neeko can manage Aurelia in mid, and it's not something that you need to dedicate a ban to because of the proximity of the mid lane turrets. So Neeko only really fears that matchup inside of the long lane. Jarvan now banned away.
Jarvan rising in popularity nowadays in the LCK.
And I'm surprised Rek'Sai isn't utilized more as an answer to it, but oh man, not like that. No.
What's this champion? I've never seen him before.
Yeah, I've never seen him.
Who is this guy?
This is what happens when the meta degrades.
Is
over
he
the
one of
course
the new
several
champions that's been added recently?
Yeah, it is actually. I had the pleasure of seeing this champion build Luden's Echo as well as double Morellonomicon yesterday. I had to take
911, what's your emergency? That was a great tweet. Oh, and look, it's his partner Corki.
Well, you gotta hire a pilot to take the bird out of the sky.
Of course.
Come on, get with the program already.
Only Corki has the tools.
I hope that he
necessary.
chooses the Corki skin because I still haven't named the dog. Neither have you.
I gave my my name in there.
What was it?
I forget. What? I think maybe it was Buddy.
Okay.
I'm not
So,
sure.
Skarner picked up, which is a little bit surprising because Afreeca's team composition already wants to come into you. And Azir has Shurima Shuffle. Azir has long range. Varus has Tendrils of Corruption. Nautilus has R. What?
Tendrils of Corruption.
Yeah, you know. He's got that.
Is that the Korean translation of the ultimate ability?
And Elise is going to be the final pick, actually, here for Dread.
Yeah, you don't see this all too often, but another AP jungler that is especially proficient at diving. We'll see where they might consider diving on this one. You would have to imagine the top lane would be the most available.
The Chain of Corruption.
Yeah, the chain
Coach,
of corruption.
by the way. All right.
The
Caster.
tendrils of corruption.
Why did I say tendrils? What is that
You're playing
from?
too much Tahm, Kench.
No, what's the tendrils from?
Tendrils?
Chain of
Tendrils are like the things that come out of fishies, right?
Yeah. Well, of course, I just thought.
Yeah, like a catfish, you know, like Sir Thomas Kench.
All right, well, let's take a look at the team compositions one last time here. So, Sir Thomas, Kalista, Corki, Skarner, and then on the top side there is the Neeko. They started out really strong in the draft. I think they really dropped the ball later on, though. There's a lot of anti-synergy in this team composition. They want to scale, but at the same time, they sort of don't want to scale. They sort of want to fight around 1 and 2 items, but at the same time, they sort of don't want to fight around 1 and 2 items because of their team comp. And then there's anti-tax that is just going to work against them despite having the Skarner. Now, on the flip side, Kennen, Elise, Azir, Varus, and Nautilus, so much more flexibility, long range, and options available, even though it's red side Kennen.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how this one will pan out in game number 1.
계약은 성립됐다. 신속하게 보복해주라.
Alrighty, we're jumping into game number 1. As this is the 4th day in a row that I've cast, actually. It's
Really?
been a bit of a marathon for me. I'm very used to doing 2 days in a row. All of 2018 and all of 2019. Actually, 2017 as well. Was 2 days.
Only cast 1 day next week, Valdez.
Wow.
That
What
is
are you going to do with
unfortunate.
all that free time?
League of Legends coaching on my
Oh,
stream,
yeah?
I guess. Yeah, it's been a while.
League of Legends coaching. What's that?
God,
game?
I don't know.
So when can I sign up for your first batch of TFT coaching?
Nope.
Live on the stream.
Nope.
But I want it to be coached. When is it going to happen?
Not Valdez?
You're not offering that product yet?
No,
Or, okay.
not yet. Got to make sure that I'm actually good.
Is there a website?
Can't be a Charlotte.
No. Okay. No. Okay. All right. Well, just maybe I can sign up to your newsletter. Maybe I can figure it out sooner in the future.
All right. Well, how about this for now? Okay. Both of the junglers are starting on their respective sides of the map. We're not going to get any early game shenanigans going on. And when you look at the team compositions, interestingly enough, Jin Air, they want to get ahead in top and bottom. They don't want these two lanes to go even by any means. And the Skarner, he's only going to have more and more problems the longer that the game actually draws on, because there's so many abilities on the side of Afreeca that can just stop his engage attempts directly in his in the line of sight that he tries to engage on. So the Azir is already having a pretty free time there in mid lane. Both mid laners do have teleport. And the Elise, it's not really her job to make anything happen, which is why she's a little bit of a surprising pick. But we'll see if Dread can offset or counter match gank anything that Malrang attempts. And Malrang, we always talk about his aggression and how he likes to go for these extremely high variance plays very often. And when you're doing it on a champion like Skarner, you don't he's not as forgiving of a champion in the sense that he needs to keep accelerating. He doesn't want to lose out on farm opportunity and whatnot. So if he fails things, it really hurts. And so combine that with Malrang's play style, and you can really get for some high volatility.
Yeah, I mean, he could have a fantastic start or an absolute trash one, as we have seen sometimes. But I still will stand by the idea that if you are, you know, you're betting with a friend and they're like, who do you think's going to pick up first blood? If Jin Air's in the game, bet on Jin Air. I'd say the majority of the time, regardless who they play against. I mean, they've played against some of the best teams in the LCK, and still somehow their jungler will find a way to pick up first blood for the team and then slowly fall off somehow. So
yeah,
that is definitely something to look forward to. We'll see if he does go for any ganks earlier than level 6. Skarner can sometimes have trouble with that. So for now, just farming it up in his own jungle. As Grace picked up a call, you know what he's going for. Didn't pick up the Kleptomancy. We saw that a couple of times yesterday. Just going for the call in terms of greediness.
Well, the call, it's going to help him try to hit power spikes a little bit sooner. Can't go for the Kleptomancy, though, against the Azir.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the ability to proc it as reliably. And also, it's interesting to note that it's 80 Neeko against 80 Kennen, which is really surprising. I would have thought that Lindarang actually would have elected for the AP variation of Neeko, just because it would really help Skarner out as well as the other teammates.
Okay, Grace, let's see how you can get away from this. The flash, and he hits the cocoon! He's going to be flashed on now by Ucal, who gets on in there. First blood will be given to the Azir, but he is most likely dead here. As Malrang, he needs to be a little bit faster. The flash on in has to be committed to just to pick up the kill.
Well, that was a really sloppy cleanup there by Malrang. I mean, there's really no other way to say that. And what a fantastic cocoon, though, by Dread. I was so surprised he was able to hit that. And then it almost looked like Ucal himself was a little bit surprised that the cocoon hit, because the follow-up was a little bit slow. Probably take a look at the replay. Just take a look at how he weaves the cocoon in. Point blank, he flashes over, hits him during the Valkyrie. You can see Ucal doesn't follow up. And then, because of the angle or the direction that he ended up taking, he kites right, and there's Malrang waiting on the right-hand side. But Malrang having to expend a flash in order to get that kill. So Afreeca, they definitely make out, though, at the end of the day. Experience advantage in mid lane. You can see right now Ucal level 6, Corki level 5. Nothing is really panning out for them, and this is one of the issues where the laners are not powerful enough on their own so they sort of need Skarner, but Skarner doesn't want to help them out that early on, and if he tries to and you run into an Elise, you're going to have a bad time. Jin Air is really far behind.
Okay. That's really far behind. That's a lot of reallys. I'm a little bit shocked by that, actually. It's not often you get that far behind. But it does feel that way. I mean, the flash was expended, as you mentioned. Now the Skarner's not going to have as simple of a level 6 gank, or can even get a level 6 gank at all, as you can see that the mid lane for Ucal is warded on the bottom side. Looks like Malrang at level 6 is looking for the mid lane, the one guy who does not have his flash, and the Predator coming on in, and a nice dodge by Malrang. That is a dead Azir. And I said it wasn't going to be easy, but Malrang was just able to make it so easy.
That was a really nice timed gank and also a really good dodge there by Malrang. Against the Emperor's Divide, he's going to immediately convert this into just clearing his red side jungle out. But now, down here in bottom lane, Kellin and Root having a very hefty trade here against Aiming and Senan.
That was a ton of damage taken here by the Thomas. As now we got Senan coming on in here. That is a fast one, and he's going to hit the hook. In goes the Elise, but the Fate's Call will save that catfish for now. As Afreeca expending a bunch to try to get that, but we're not successful.
And this will mean that Jin Air's bot lane, they are going to be forced to recall. Well, Kellin has the teleport available thanks to that spellbook on Sir Thomas. Gets back into the lane. A turret plate will not fall, and Skarner's in close proximity. We take a look at this. Ucal had just summoned a Sand Shoulder. He cast the Emperor's Divide. Malrang dodged it, and even though Elise, she just has to watch.
Yeah. A little bit late to that one, but now we got more action as we're going to have at least here by Afreeca. Malrang does not have the Impale, but now the double teleport coming on in. Everybody committing to this. It's going to get close, but it is going to go the way of Afreeca. In goes the huge Pop Blossom. That's 4 members hit by that one. As Jin Air want to turn it around. We're trading for that mid laner now, as Afreeca, though, will pick up 2. Root trying to go in and do the damage. Is able to flash away, but he is going to be taken down into the end. No matter what, as Kellin not able to do that damage against Kiin, as he picks up a triple kill in the end.
Oh my god, this death animation. It looks like Kennen just ripped his way out of the stomach with a knife. It's like a beached whale. Oh man, we take another quick look at this. Teleport coming in from both of the top laners. Kiin had the low ground though, and that's more favorable normally inside of the river. Kiin slicing Maelstrom, locking up lots of people. Lindarang had a fantastic ultimate there, but Grace goes down really early. They try to get Aiming to go down early on, and then Ucal just coming in there on the Azir. Root tries to flash away and kite, but even so, he would be running to the other team's base, and you have to know the Varus is still alive. He said top lane is completely over,
but we have another gank up here on the top side. That lane is not over. I guess it's over for you right now, Kiin, as he's going to get dove between turrets as Jin Air strike back quickly.
I feel like this is the opposite of a caster curse. This is like a player curse. Yeah. It just says that the lane's over, then it cuts back to him dying.
He cursed himself.
Yeah.
He was too cocky. He's like, yeah, I got this easy game, easy life.
This is where Twitch chat and YouTube chat and whoever else chat
Facebook
starts
chat.
lulling. Yeah, Facebook chat. They start lulling.
Do we have a Facebook stream anymore? Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. You still use Facebook?
Not really.
Yeah.
As we're doing a bit of damage here on a Grace, Ucal, he was almost out of staying in range, rather, of that one, as the junglers are fighting over Shelly. Who's going to win her heart here, as somehow Grace was way too close to that. As Malrang looks like he got the smite there on that. We got fights on both sides. Ucal trying to get away. Afreeca going to win the top one, as everything is falling apart now. The poking is good for Afreeca on the bottom side too, as they'll pick up 3 kills on the back of that one.
Valdez, close your eyes. I don't think this type of stuff is good for you to watch right now. Shelly is summoned in mid lane. All the plates are going to go over to Aiming and Dread. And, you know, there's been quite a few FLICKR games here in the LCK in the last 2 days.
I don't know what it is, like, especially game ones.
Yeah.
Right?
Game
Yesterday,
ones,
Genji versus Kingzone. Genji's like, here, take me with you.
we're going to need to check the matchmaking rating here of this game because this is looking a little bit... I've heard murmurs about Season 9.
They got a couple of guys that were,
Yeah.
you know, Plat 1 from Season 8,
I'm not sure.
and now they're in Master for some reason.
Oh, man.
They're
Well,
getting matched up with Diamond 4 people.
yeah, let's take us to a replay of where Jin Air ends up getting Kiin right here. Valkyrie comes out, and Kiin, I mean, it's a pretty easy cookie cutter kill onto him. The wave was crashing onto the turret. This was actually fantastic for them. That was really, really good.
This
then,
is where you just find
Grace
explosion.
is endlessly handshaking on a trade right there, refusing.
So how does he die here? I think he just...
Well, I think that aiming aims. Ready? Nice.
What?
That was impressive. Because the Varus was on his screen, but I think that he was so mesmerized by the Legolas archery skill that he just couldn't help but stand still for that one. So
what?
Legolas. You didn't watch Lord of the
It
Rings?
sounded like you said legless.
야, 전령도
먹고
먹고 영도
What?
먹고 지렸다.
그러게.
난 다 먹어 나는.
여기 아들.
We got Herald and
Dragon. That's
so
so
good. Oh, wow, our casters.
Yeah.
Our
Synergy.
translating skills, LS, right? We're both on the same wavelength. Thank you, G-Sun, for the help.
What?
I mean, yeah, we're just great translators. No. As Afreeca Dread is getting a little bit too far, but he does have a blasting plant. It's one of the cool things you can do if you're playing Elise. Just hop to a plant or anything that's targetable, and you will be able to get away.
Yeah. Grace now going to try to clear out the mid lane. And when we just evaluate the current game state, this is going to be a second Infernal... Okay, that's a Venn diagram.
It actually was the two circles together as it's Neeko and worse Neeko up in the top lane.
And worse Neeko's winning. This is, I mean, this is just like the first movie, right? Mew beat Mewtwo in the end. Or Mew convinced Mewtwo, right? That was how
But
it worked.
Mew's the better one, right?
Is Mew the better? I think Mew's the better one.
Yeah. So, okay. The Flash Skarner ult is a good one, as Tahm Kench has a cleanse as well. They caught whoever they were able to catch. It was Senan. But Afreeca are like, okay, that's just Nautilus. We don't really care about him. You know, he's kind of a nice guy, but, you know, we don't always invite him to every event, right? He's, you know.
They still win this. Afreeca will still win down numbers. Their champions are that strong.
All right, trying
Kellin,
to turn this one around.
what are you doing?
Kellin and the bunch are just really confident, but aiming just going to turn it around. They're getting swept into the dumpster here, LS, as Afreeca are just laughing at Jin Air and cleaning them up as a hush comes over the crowd, as even the Afreeca fans are saying, is that even legal?
Someone better check if we're still live on Twitch. This is violating TOS right now. I'm not sure what is going on in this game. They're really overforcing things. I mean, prior to them even attempting the fight, I'm very vocally trying to say they can't win, right? And they keep pushing on. So the fact that so many members are still behind the decision is really perplexing. And you can see Afreeca, they're fine to stand their ground. They were willing to take the fight. That's why they started the Dragon. They knew that, okay, well, even if they try to come kill us, we're just too much stronger than them.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at the quick pickoff where it was really nice. Yeah, they get Senan, but as you pointed out, it's just a Nautilus. And then it cuts to this fight. Now, the amount of damage that Varus and Azir have is just absolutely insane right now. And also, Root, he's not even in the fight. Kellin, he walks forward, he takes about, I think that's 900 damage of Grey Health. And then he also, he gets the Fate's Call, or just runs right in to the enemy team off of the Kalista ultimate, and then the rest of the members just fall down. So,
yeah, it's just one person saying, "Hey, it's 4-on-3. We just got the pick. Go, go, go!" And it just looks like a disaster every time we see it afterwards. I mentioned how Jin Air are not fantastic transitioning to the mid game, but we never really had a transition out of the early game. It's just been fight after fight. We have 20 kills in 16 minutes because Jin Air just look like, I don't know, they just don't really know what's going on. They're just trying to force fights when they shouldn't be. And they're just feeding a bunch of kills to the enemy team.
well, I've realized a sick joke here, Valdez. I want you to make your eyes locate the Azir item.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's tragic.
I mean, he picked up the Morellonomicon.
We need a moment of silence here for this. Morellonomicon picked up. He also has 10 stacks on Darksteel, so we should just get the major. Oh
Ooh.
my!
Nice one. We got Kellin trying to, or not Kellin, it's rather Lindarang. He fooled me. He got in behind them and just got blown up. As you can see, the play they were trying to go for, but Afreeca's just too fed at this point,
This
guys.
could be a 20-minute game.
They might just push to at least, well, they're definitely going to push to inhibitor, I'd say. How much further they go is left up to them. Let's see what they do.
I think it's up to Jin Air, honestly, at this point. With some of the decisions that they've been making.
Okay, we're killing the Nautilus again. No, he's got a stopwatch. He's going to survive for now. He flashes away. As Afreeca not done, they're going to push the inhibitor, and it looks like at least they will respect the Nexus and back away for now.
This is a 10.7 thousand gold lead. I like how the observers, they're using the fog of war. They're confirming that Baron is not, in fact, yet available. Now, I love talking about this, though. An inhibitor this early on is sort of bad for Afreeca, but first we'll take a look at the replay. This is really, really good ultimate there by aiming, locked up Lindarang, and then the ultimate, the Shurima's, or the divide right there by Ucal was phenomenal. And right here, Malrang, he thought that he had Senan, but Chuck Testa, he had the stopwatch available. He goes golden, and now the inhibitor falls. Now, the thing about the inhibitor is the super minions are permanently coming in. So see that wave down there on the bottom? That's dead. Kennen doesn't get access to that. Kennen won't get access to the next wave either, unless he wants to potentially overextend and then be caught by the Skarner and the Neeko, which I think is why Malrang is maybe hover, or unless he just cleared golems. But you can see that Kiin is being very cautious, and he's going to end up losing another wave, and then another wave, and another wave. And if this goes on long enough, because there's no Baron in the game, it can slowly allow the losing team to recover. And this is why I'll often say, you know, between 14 and 18 minutes, if you have a chance to take an inhibitor, don't. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, though, it does feel like Afreeca's too far ahead for it to really matter, as they're 11,000 gold at 18 minutes. I mean, it's gonna be hard, as Afreeca are not pulling off any of the pressure at all. They're just coming on in here, and they're not showing any mercy now to the side of Jin Air. Dread has a QSS, just in case. He has all of this extra gold. He's like, I'm not supposed to have this item at this point. Probably shouldn't even have a Morellonomicon at this point, plus the tier 2 boots, but he just has so much gold that it is possible. Kiin, he can't farm the bottom lane, as you mentioned, so he'll just have to take a Cloud Drake, and that's it.
Yeah, he can't go bottom right now, and so this is actually really beneficial. And one of the other things about this is, remember, it's not just the gold, it's also the experience in the minions. And so eventually, if Kiin just has to keep doing odd jobs in terms of picking up like a neutral objective like the Clown Dragon and whatnot, Lindarang can recover in the XP department. And then when you factor in rubber banding XP and stuff like this, these are the comeback mechanics that Riot has placed in the game in order to allow for a losing team to have a fighting chance still. But realistically, I mean, if the Baron goes down, Valdez, we're just going game 2. So.
Yeah. This is, it's definitely one of the solo queue games where, you know, your mid laner, he gets really angry, gets tilted, dies a bunch of time. He's trying to surrender at 15, but there's 4 people saying yes and 1 person saying no. And then they do a second vote at 18 minutes, and you're like, why did you do that? The guy's just going to say no again. So they have to wait again until like 21 or so minutes to actually go for the 4-1 surrender vote and get out there. That's realistically, if this were solo queue, what we'd be looking at. We do have a pause here. I'm not really sure. We've been having some issues the last couple of days with pauses, so we'll have to get this worked out.
All right, well, probably find out what it is in just a second. Lindarang's mouse has stopped working.
That's definitely an issue you want to fix. As the ref is like, oh, you unplugged it. Any particular reason why you may have done that? Not sure if that's really the issue, but the ref is getting on it right now.
Well, we'll see if they're able to fix it. But, I mean, honestly, the current game state is so irrecoverable from Jin Air. It would take so much in order to make everything happen. Let's take a look at what this sign says.
Jin Air fighting. Don't show us the tears of the dragon. Show us the anger of the dragon. Or the fury. Yeah. Oh, it's the ultimate of Lee Sin. That's the Korean name for it. Dragon's Fury?
Yeah, Dragon's Fury, because the
Fiery
coach
Dragon.
is called H-Dragon, right? That's his ID.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's okay.
That's a good sign. I'll give that a B+.
Okay. How about this one here? Afreeca got
When did we become a strong team from?
Oh, that's right. That's a quote from Ucal.
Yes.
Who said that?
I actually heard, I was doing this filming, and I heard the history behind that. Apparently, some reporter or some news person said that about a baseball team, and right after that article came out, the team plummeted and started doing really badly. So it's like a curse from Korean baseball. And soon after that, actually, Afreeca started having some trouble.
Yeah.
And they, as I said before, they have to continue winning. Otherwise, with all the strong teams we have here, they might not make playoffs. They absolutely need to win today. And the game is resuming. So there we go, guys. Enough about cursed Korean baseball. Have you ever been to a baseball game here?
In Korea, no. The last time I went to a baseball game, I think was the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
At the old stadium. You know what I'm talking about?
The old Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
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 Wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've lived for a long time.
No, I haven't, Aldo.
Mr. Larry Seinfeld.
Don't try to make yourself feel young. All right.
That's exactly what I'm doing. You caught me.
You got a couple of years on me. All right.
Just
Sorry.
a couple, okay?
Yeah.
As Afreeca may just have a couple of wins here over Jin Air tonight, as game number 1 has not been close. This has just been a slaughter.
This has been pretty close.
Malrang's like, hold on, I gotta get the Spire.
Oh.
Wait up, guys. I gotta get the Spire. Thanks, I got it. And now I'm dead. And Lindarang's over here. He's like, yeah, let me help you with that, buddy. And he's gonna go down too.
I think they've given up.
Now they're saying maybe, just maybe, we can kill aiming. Oh wait, no, he bought a stopwatch, and he's dead too. Actually, everybody's dead now. And Afreeca is going to kill Jin Air here in this game. It will be a 1-0 victory over to Afreeca, as the desperation at the end showing they want to get aiming into the picture, and they'll be able to do just that with the push in the bottom side.
They escort him right into the base, and that's going to be the end for game number 1. Is this the fastest game?
So we had a fastest game before. I think that was 23 minutes. And I think this is going to be the fastest game. 22 minutes and about 8 or 9 seconds is going to do it for game number 1. Afreeca not wasting any time in this game.
Whoa. They're not wasting any time getting off the stage
They're
either.
out of here.
They're going to the bathroom.
So this is the fastest in summer 2019, about 22 minutes and 10 seconds. So setting records here is Afreeca.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is. It sort of looks like Galaxy Brain, but I don't know if that's what that was.
Kind of reminded me of Warwick.
What?
We haven't seen him very often. Maybe it's because I'm casting with you and you're from Warwick.
Oh my, that's Pengu!
Yeah, it is,
Oh.
and Yumi.
No.
Yeah, on the right.
Pengu! Look at him.
All right, who are you voting for here for the
Pengu.
Pengu? You wanna cast your vote for?
Oh,
Pengu
I thought you
here?
meant Pengu and Yumi.
Oh, yeah. Between the two of them, I'd probably vote for Pengu too.
Yeah.
He's gonna take the cake. But wow, that was a game of legends that we just cast. I can hardly believe that was one of the games, as every fight from the get-go kind of felt like Jin Air was like, let's just see what might happen here, you know?
Yeah.
And Afreeca was like, okay, thank you very much. We will take this one into our hands as still deep in discussion. You can tell that Jin Air, they haven't given up just yet. Still trying to figure out exactly what is going wrong.
We're going to take a look at the stats. There were points in the game where Jin Air was ahead. So it wasn't like it was always a complete blowout, but Sir Thomas coming in second there. On Jin Air's team composition.
Hey man, it's Sir Thomas Kench.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He's supposed to be, you know, jack of all trades. He
Yeah.
can really do anything.
He's the master of all trades. Get it right. All right,
Yeah,
so
especially doing the DPS.
in game number 2, I mean, I wish I could say that there was something clear-cut to do, but really isn't. It's just going to come down to, can Malrang avoid some wards and get some early acceleration for his team?
Yeah. Hopefully he can flip heads here in game number 2. We'll have to figure out after this quick commercial break.
뒤에 아래 봐줘 아래. 아래 볼게 아래. 나 용부터 먹을게. 야 용부터 먹는데. 야 너 들어갈게. 오케이. 야 니코 높고. 코르키. 아 죽었어. 그렇지? 야 스카너. 아 이거 피 없다. 칼리. 아래쪽 칼리 높을. 칼리 잡았어. 나이스. 터졌다. 나이스. 나중에 그냥 빨리. 야 나이스. 김계. 이거 탑 라인 좀 끝났다 이거 내가 그냥 계속. 잘 타는 남자 김계. 오랜만에 탑 탔어. 풀테크. 오케이 나이스. 이거 탑 그냥 끝났어 이거 이제. 나이스.
그럼 지금부터 사운드 테스트 진행하십니다.
사운드 테스트.
그다음에 적들의 움직임이 수상해.
플레이
얘 좀 봐줘.
네.
테디 지금 바텀 보고 있는 거야? 플레이드 게임 중.
보스터 여기 좀 봐줘.
똥플릭 상황 보고 있는 거야?
적들의 움직임이 수상해.
플레이 게임은 언제 오는 거야?
안 감. 이거 봐.
잘 들리시고 있네. 네. 다음.
나올 준비.
왜 보고 있는 거야?
아 그거 괜찮아. 큐베 죽으면 그거 해. 큐베 상황 보고 있는 거야?
진짜.
요거 알았지? 할 수 있다 생각하고 하라고.
정신 차려야겠습니다.
괜찮아.
노래 불러줘요? 시작 전에 불러줘.
When you try your best. 나 이거 노래 안 들었는데 알 것 같아.
When you try your best, but you don't succeed. 멘탈에 영향이. 알았어, 안 할게.
좋아. 계속 한 소절만 더 해봐.
When you give what you know, not what you need.
약간 스페인어 같은데.
대현이 형 긴장되면 말해. 제가 계속 불러드릴게요. 감기 전에도 불러줄게요. 껌 있는 분. 생각해보니까 껌을 안 씹었네? 요즘 메타 껌 안 씹는 메타야. 아 그래?
껌 안 먹냐 요즘?
껌 씹으면 저.
요즘 껌 안 씹냐?
네.
헐.
껌 씹을 시간에 말해야 된다니까.
헐.
아, 네.
이래.
나 괜찮아.
이긴 거 같거든?
이거 왔다, 이거 왔다.
프레이.
나왔어, 이거. 이거 조이 노플? 오케이, 이겼다. 조이 노플? 아, 다행이다.
오케이, 이겼다. 오케이. PT 왜 이렇게 잘해?
서울의 밤 멈추러 간 도시 걸먹걸먹 걸으며
날들이 내 잃어버린 날들이.
집중합시다. 에이스 있어요?
빨리 못 오거든? 이거 레드 줄게.
야, 아지르 봐줘, 아지르.
야, 우연히 봐.
아지르.
아들. 아, 자동차가 있거든?
깼어. 많이 끝났어.
나이스.
나이스. 그냥 기인 형 파밍하다가 그냥
아, 어떻게 카멜이 세즈보다 딜량이 낮냐.
아, 네가 해보라고, 야. 아니야, 그럴 거면 가렌 해라, 가렌. 어? 그래, 가렌 할까, 이거? 가렌 해라, 진짜. 가렌 할까? 나 같으면 딜량 5천 넣을 거면 가렌 한다. 딜량 5천이었냐?
5,000원이야. 내가 딜량 2등이야, 우리 팀.
뽀삐 저번에 뽀삐 잘하는 거
뽀삐 아닌 거 같아.
뽀삐 나한테 배울래?
키니 뽀삐를 못하냐
형 사이언 해, 사이언. 제이스 상대로 사이언 얼마나
아니, 가렌 하니까? 아니, 사이온을 왜 하냐고. 할 거면 오른을 하지.